Hello, good evening. This is the seventh session we'll be having, and today I decided to do a form of freestyle. So, we've talked about principles, talked about um, um, some rules, we've talked about trends and different things. So, I'll just um, so what I have in mind is to create a kind of magazine cover, and in the process I will be playing around some of the things I've mentioned in the past. You will see some of them in action, and I may be introducing some new things that I haven't talked about at all. So, all right, let's go. Okay, so I have my worksheet here, and I'm trying to have downloaded some images, specifically this and that. So I'm trying to see how I can play around using two models. I would have used only this guy's picture, but the picture doesn't have enough white space as I would like, and of course I can still manipulate my way around it, but I want to see how I can achieve something else, merging this picture with this picture. Okay, so the first thing I would do to have enough freedom, as I said, I need my white space so I can be free enough to do a couple of things. So the first thing is I will remove the background from the two pictures, right? And yeah, I have mentioned this in the past that the fastest background remover tool that I use whenever my background is plain and there is enough contrast between the background and the foreground is the magic eraser tool. So I just do a single click and it takes out all the okay takes out all the pixels. So why he strayed into the neck or the body part of the guy is because um there's a similar brown on the shirt that um, that the magic eraser tool traced and then broke into the body of the guy from the background, meaning he could not locate enough boundary here to tell it that this is the brown you have to deal with and not any other thing. But because there's a similar brown, so let me undo it, and yes, this is that region. So what I can do is to just manipulate my way around it, try and take care of anything that can link my main picture in the background first. Should work. So after marking it, I just delete it by myself so that there will be a boundary. As so back to my magic result tool, and yes, it has worked. Somehow it has eaten deep into this, but of course for speed and everything I will ignore this tiny um, image. Okay, how about this angle? Perfect. So now I'm done with this, and then this lady, can I? Okay, so the reflection on her back is making it difficult for the magic eraser tool to sense that this is a boundary. So again, let me see if I can quickly sort this by myself instead of that. This may not be a very perfect selection, but the idea is I'm trying to take out the background. Okay, still left. So yes, I can be looking. Okay, how about the front? Is there enough boundary? There should be. Okay, perfect. Okay, so something is linking it to the chest region as well. So there are still a couple of white um, marks in the air to be very okay. I'm not sure I've mentioned or used this technique before. So if I'm trying to remove multiple colors in regions like this, I will make a selection around the region first and then do a form of technique where I will ask Photoshop to look for this color anywhere within the area I've marked. Look for the color and then separate it. Then I can decide what to do with the color you separated. So after selecting this region, I will go to, after marking the region, I will go to select and then I come to color range. That is, I'm trying to select a specific color range. I'm trying to select a specific color range in the marking I've done. So it brings a pop-up and then of course the eyedropper tool asking me what is the color range. So if I pick black, so anything that looks similar to what I've clicked within this area I've marked, it will keep it for me. So once I click OK, you'll see it. But this is not what we want to do. I'm not trying to select black. I'm trying to select the white patches in the hair. So I click somewhere around here. So they are the ones hiding in this timing. So once I click OK, then you can see them being selected and I can delete. Yes. And to some extent, I think I have the space I need, or the empty spaces I need around the air. So I'll try and do this again for this part. Okay. Yeah, nice. Or better. Okay, so now to my worksheet. Done it here. And my guy. Done it here as well. Even though I haven't decided what exactly I'm trying to do, but the way it's looking, I will see if I can clip the picture of this guy within the frame of the picture of the lady and then see what I can do with whatever I have left. So this picture, the picture of the guy is quite limiting because you can see the frame is not a complete one. The full area of the head warmer has been cut off. The left arm, the right arm, we don't have this complete shoulder and even the base. So the picture is looking like a passport photograph, meaning we can't really flex our muscle with it, just like unlike this lady's picture. So okay. So yeah, so I'm trying to, with the rule of, I think we mentioned proportion when talking about design principles. That's you trying to create a sense of equality and realism in the sizes of objects and elements you are using based on what they look like realistically. For example, you are trying to make a design, and in the design you need to portray a car, for example a car, and a wheel, one tire from a car in different areas of the design. Naturally, we are not expected to make the tire bigger than the car, except for special effects for aesthetics. Ideally, the proportion, the normal proportion is for the car to be bigger than the wheel, than the tire, right? So in any case where maybe out of ignorance, mistakenly, we make the tire big and then the car is looking small beside it, we are communicating something else. So in this case, even though the guy's frame is not so complete, but this is a male and then this is a female, so in no sense naturally is anyone expected to be bigger or smaller than the other. So this is why we leave these guys frame like this, and then find a way to mask or blend it within the lady's frame. So what do I do when I have the shoulder looking empty here and everything? I will decide to clip this guy's picture within the picture of this lady. So how do I do that? By placing, okay, clipping, yeah, just what the word suggests. You have two things. You want to create one as the container, and then you want to create a sense of a sense of housing for the other one, meaning you want to clip A inside B, right? So in the real sense, B now becomes the container, A now becomes the content of the container. Okay, so to do that, the container is expected to be below what it is containing in the arrangement of the layer panel. So if we had something like this before, the next thing we do, since we have it in mind that we want to clip the guy's image within the lady's image or frame, is the guy's own has to come up and then we clip it. So how do we clip? We right click and then locate create clipping mask. Create clipping mask. So once we do that, everything about this guy will be restricted henceforth into, or be restricted to, the frame of this lady. It means the guy cannot go out. He can, if he tries to go out, then he is no longer existing. We cannot see it anymore. So that is what clipping does. It keeps this guy within the frame of whatever we are clipping the guy into, and in this case it is the lady's frame. So a shortcut to do it also, instead of right clicking and all, is once you've arranged your layer, the one you are clipping into a container is now above, then you bring your cursor to the middle of the two, right? Or you bring it to the middle of the two, and once you're in the middle, click on the Alt key on your keyboard. Excuse me, the Alt key on your keyboard. Once you click on the Alt key, your cursor changes to an arrow pointing down, right? It is now suggesting that the layer above will now be clipped into the layer below. So once you see that, then you click. So till you see, so if you want to undo it, you come to the middle again, hold on to your Alt, and then it tells you to cancel the clipping. So once it changes, you click again. Till it changes, you don't click. Once it has changed, you click. So now clipping is done, but this is not all, because the guy's frame is still all over and it's still very obvious that it's incomplete. So what do we do? Okay, now, so as I said, some of the things I'll be doing will be part of what we've done before, and some that I have not done before. So in this case, to blend the forehead of the guy, the top frame of the guy, I will be using my layer mask and the brush tool. This we've done before. So I'll do this, then I'll confirm is my foreground color black and my background color white. Yes. If I've fulfilled that requirement, the next thing is go to my brush tool, and then I cannot use any random brush. It has to be a soft round brush. Is it soft? Is it round? Question is yes. Okay, and then I come back here. So it is currently small. I can increase the size by clicking on the square bracket on my keyboard. If you click on the one by the right, it increases the size. The one by the left decreases the size. So once I've done that, I can brush it over the guy's forehead. Okay, without having the best results. But okay, so far it's still looking better than the guy's half frame. So this part is done. Whatever we get to achieve with the freestyle I'm doing will be a kind of poetic message, which I don't know yet. So now let me prepare my background. I don't intend to work with plain white. So I have gold kept here, not exactly for this design but for the previous design I did earlier today. So yeah, I can use it by clicking on the layer I want to apply the color onto, and then switching between um, command, that's control on Windows, control and backspace. So if you click on control and backspace, it applies the color of it applies the background color in this panel to whatever layer you have selected. But if you do alt and backspace, it applies the foreground color. But in this case, I want to work with the gold. So I have well, no problem. I prefer brown, but let's do brown. Oh, okay, we're a darker variant of gold. So the lady's hair is now very obvious. That is okay. So well, for the purpose of this of this tutorial, to save time, to save energy, we will have to revert to a light background. So you cover up this um, um, the leftover in her hair, right? So I will have to work with what I have now. Okay, so yeah, done with this, done with this. The next thing I want to work with is okay, 1, 2, 3. Then I'll start bringing my elements. What do I intend to do? So I said it's a magazine cover, right? So of course every magazine has the title, volume number, some codes and everything and different elements. So what are we gonna do? Okay, so I'll call my magazine pieces, then give it what color. So sometimes I'm stuck with working with colors. I pick colors from the assets I have on my worksheet so that there'll be a level of consistency and my work will not be all over and shouting different colors and all. So there'll be a form of consistency and then me still being constrained to what I have going on. So okay, so I'm looking for a color that will have enough contrast that will be visible on this background. Let's see. Let's go on looking like it. Okay. So what else can I do to this guy's background? I mean the guy's image. I want it to have a level of similarity with where I've clipped it into. That's the face of the lady. So the guy is looking a little bit fairer, the lady is looking darker. Obviously, the setting of the guy's picture, where they took the picture from, there is enough lighting than where this lady's picture was taken from. So I'm not trying to create this kind of difference. I want everything to look like the models were snapped in the same place. So I will be using the blending mode. I think we have mentioned it at some point. So the blending mode is currently set at normal. How it works is whatever layer you are applying the blending mode to, it ignores whatever is above it but works around blending, just like clipping, right? You are clipping what is above into what is below it. The same way with blending mode, you are blending whatever is above with whatever is below it, right? So if you click on any layer and you want to apply blending mode, you are only asking it to blend itself with the layers that are under it and not the one above it. So now that this is the guy's layer, right, the blending mode is a normal, then I have different blending modes, a lot. So I'll keep scrolling till I find what I have or what will look like what we can work with. So I'm going down, darken, multiply, color brown, not brown, not brown, screen. Okay, so it's looking like what I want is an from 19 down. Somehow the guy is still looking light, but yeah, I'm achieving the blending. If you look at the shoulder of the lady and the guy's chest, yes, they are fading into each other, and that's one thing I want to achieve. So let's work with the lighting blending mode. Let's work with that and keep it there. Okay, so I'll create some random text just to make it look as if we are working with the serious magazine. Okay. So that's the default text that pops up whenever you are working with a text box before you start typing. Photoshop always helps you with the default text, Lorem Ipsum, and everything. So if I duplicate it, I am duplicating it with either Ctrl J reduplicate, or I click on whatever I want to duplicate and I hold on to my option. The Alt key. Once I have my Alt key, the cursor changes into two, black and white, meaning you are about to duplicate. So once you click and you drag it out, you have successfully duplicated what you clicked. So I'm trying to bring it there to create something that looks like amazing. The contrast will not allow me to leave this like this because it's not visible. So let's see the skin color. Black. Okay, maybe black. Okay, so I have this. Faces. Let's say volume 2. Again, I'm duplicating with the Alt, and then to transform. So transform is, I have mentioned this in the I think when we're talking about move tool. Yeah, so transform is usually when you want to decide what to do with an element. Do you want to rotate it? Do you want to scale it higher, scale it lower? Do you want to squeeze it? Do you want to expand and all? So the shortcut is Ctrl T for transform. Quickly Ctrl T for transform. So one way to do all of this, you can always find them here. If you want to transform, edit, come to edit, come down, then transform. So the different types of transform, everything here. But then you don't have all the time, so Ctrl T. I duplicate this first, Ctrl J. So then I duplicate and then Ctrl T. It brings all of these nodes around it, and then I can scale it here because I'm going to make it volume whatever. If I say volume 25, to be. So personally, I prefer working with or achieving minimalism with my designs. I don't want them to be so loud, so big, so noisy. No. So this volume, so I can reduce the opacity of this. So one thing I'm trying to do so far, to preach so far, is as a designer, there is the freedom to do whatever you want to do, right? As long as you communicate your message, and of course you still don't stray away from the goal or the the requirements. Create a magazine cover. The title is the name of the magazine is Faces Volume 25. These are my models. I have the guy, I have the lady, then work something out. So you are still on the right path, but you have the freedom to do and to undo as a designer. What can I do? My background is looking um um empty. There's too much white space. Um, so let me just play around some elements. Okay. So I have this. Okay. You must have seen some designs where some things are floating and then they go blurry and all. So I'll try and do a little bit of it now. So once you've selected something, you can cut it out by, we've done this before too as well. Right click and then layer via cut. So it creates a new layer, and then whatever I've cut out of it keeps it in that new layer. Everything is still intact. But whatever I've cut is no longer part of it. It's now in the new layer of its own. So with this, I will cut this as well. And then drag and drop. So they're looking too small for me. Control T for transform, increase the size, and also bring this to fill this white space so it doesn't look empty. This place is looking empty as well. So what do? Will I just place green leaves? We are talking about faces, not exactly nature. So I'll blur it. I only need the leaves to just give me some artistic effects and not exactly communicating nature. So I'll come to filter and I come to blur. Then there are different types of blur. What type do I want? There's motion blur. The motion blur looks like it's the artistic effect that photographers achieve when it looks like someone is walking or someone is making a walking pose and then they take the shot, but in the background there is like a moving vehicle that is blurry but is showing movement behind, but the person is still static and intact. So you can achieve that with motion blur. But in this case, I want to do Gaussian blur. So it brings out a pop-up and asks me for how blurry do I want my elements to be. Okay. So if I do something like this 5001 and I come back, so if I intend to do the same effect for multiple things, for example, I have 3 leaves now. Let me duplicate it. I have 3 leaves and there is no time to really watch and see if I've made this blurry in the same level as this. Is it 50 point something, 50 point something? So what Photoshop helps me to do is once I click my filter, it saves the last thing I did, right? So instead of coming to blur, coming to Gaussian blur and then trying to draw the scale, is it the same thing with what I did the last time? Once I click Gaussian blur, it applies the last effect I did with the previous one. It applies the previous one here. So I'm doing the same thing for this again, and yes, I have achieved this 1 2 3. So naturally if you see all of these things in designs, if you ask the designers, they really can't explain. For example, why are we using leaves? There is really no explanation than they want to achieve as artistic effects just for aesthetics, nothing else, right? And normally you can't even tell that we use leaves because they are now very blurred. So that's the purpose of it. What else can I do? I think I have a giant image of a flare here. So if I bring this something to just introduce something else, right? We've been working with plain image, nothing extra. So if I decide to make this blur also to give me so let's say motion blur for this. Let's see how it will look like. Not exactly special for this kind of elements. Okay, so where can I apply it? Faces, the neck. Okay, maybe somewhere around here. Yeah, somewhere around there for no specific reason, just to be there, add some extra effects, and that's all. So this place is still empty. Let's create some form of barcode or what looks like a barcode, right? So here we'll be using alignment, we'll be using duplication to achieve that. So I'll give it the brown color that we did. So what do we do? I'll duplicate this in like 5 or 7 sets. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I have enough already. I have enough. So rectangle 1 to rectangle 1, copy 5. So I remember explaining that to highlight multiple elements on a worksheet at once, there are different ways to do it, right? You can either over your mouse over it or your cursor over it, and if you look at the layer panel, everything is selected, right? There's a way to do. That's one way to do that. Another way to do that is to select the last and the first, as long as they are following one another and no random element is interfering. So locate the last, locate the first. Before clicking the first, hold on to your shift key and then click, so everything gets highlighted. So what do I want to do now by highlighting them? I intend to make all of this straight. So instead of doing the hard work of bringing out a guide and then trying to let this touch this, is this touching this and all, to see or to achieve a straight line, I will highlight everything and then use my alignment tool. So if I align everything to the left edge, they are now straight. But if you look at the spaces among them, they are not equal. So how do you account for the spaces? By making all of them by distributing each vertically. It means the proportion or the amount of space between the first one will be the next, will be the same for the next, will be the same for the next till the last. We distribute all of them. It didn't look so obvious, so let's do something like this. I don't want to do too pictures also, but something very obvious that something has changed. So first we align to the left and then we distribute vertically. Yes. So I have something like this. Let me look at the background. Okay, so just something to just fill up space and all. So after highlighting all of this, I can't keep highlighting them whenever I need to drag and drop. So I'll just come here and link all the selected layers together by clicking on this chain icon. So by clicking on the chain icon, it means I've linked all of the rectangles together. So if I pick any one of them and I drag, the others will follow because they have been linked. So that's exactly how dealing with multiple elements works. So I did something some minutes ago, bringing out my guide from my ruler. So this panel, this section on the panel is called the ruler. You can tell by all of these marks in the typical ruler. So this is the ruler, this is the ruler. You can either reveal or hide your ruler by doing Ctrl R for ruler. You do it again, you reveal it. You do Ctrl R again, you hide your ruler. So I need the ruler. So now the line I brought out is a very important one and can be used to do a demarcation for how you want all the elements to be aligned. So to bring out that guide, you stroll out of your worksheet, come to the ruler itself, and then click on any part of it and drag it out. Then you are bringing a guide out. The line is called a guide. Where you have brought it out itself is called the ruler. So to reveal your guide, to hide your guide, you use Ctrl H. The same thing we did for ruler, that's Ctrl R for ruler. But whenever it is for guide, if you bring it from top down, that will give you this horizontal. So to hide all of them, you do Control H. To reveal, you do Control H. Control H only works for guides. Control R for ruler. Control H for guide. So that's that. What else can I add to okay, even the lady itself, she doesn't have the full frame at the back. So let me just increase the size. So okay, what else can I add to this? Okay, so there's something about blending mode again, apart from how I tried or how I attempted to blend the guy's face with the lady's face, but still I can say it wasn't so successful because the lighting in their environment is still quite obviously different. The guy's area was well lit while the lady's own, probably the light was placed at the other side of her face and not the side facing us. So what can we do? We can now come above the two layers, the main elements in this whole design. The main elements are their faces, right? So we can come above the two of them, create a new layer, come above the two of them, click on the topmost one, create a new layer above them and fill it with any color. And I don't mean any color exactly, I mean we want to create an environment for everything we've done. And what we want to do is to ensure that every element we have brought together from different environments, different source of lighting, different level or intensity of light, different quality and everything, we want to make all of them similar by creating our own environment, right? So for example, we are using an albino here and then we are using a black guy here. So to make the two of them look similar, we can decide to go black and white for the whole design. So that's us creating a new environment for the design we're working with. But in this case, they are both brown, but one is lighter than the other. So let's say we want to create an environment that looks green or golden. We will create an empty layer and then fill it up with any color of our choice. So you can either do that with number one. If you click on this, so I remember saying some of the things here will not be mentioned until we need to mention them. So now this is when we need to mention them now. Without clicking this, it says create new fill or adjustment layer. Once I say yes, I want to create a new fill, it asks me, should my fill be a solid color? Should my fill be a gradient? I remember mentioning gradient when we were talking about design trends. So gradient is a combination of different colors to achieve artistic effects. You are combining different colors, blending them into each other or one another to achieve artistic effects. But in this case, the next one is pattern. Pattern can be how do I explain pattern? So there are some default patterns that are installed in this software, and also you can create your own patterns. For example, a pattern you can relate with is an Ankara design. For example, whoever designs or people who design textile, they don't create a worksheet that is as large as the material, the textile material. They do their normal square design and then create, let's say like so if it's supposed to be like a spiral design that looks like something is coiling into the other one, coiling into the other one, they can only decide to create 4 spirals and then they will multiply the spirals or duplicate it excuse me, in a smart way, such that once they expand the spirals, it keeps multiplying and displaying on the worksheet till they now have a complete pattern, and then they can give it a color and print it out as an Ankara pattern. So that's an example of a pattern. The pattern can also be, I will show you some. I've downloaded some. I'll show you some. Well, so in this case, we want to work with a solid color, right? So the solid color will pop out this color picker tool and say, what color do you want to fill your, the new fill you said you want to create should be in what color. So the way this thing works is you really can't tell what exactly you want to achieve first till you have blended different colors, then you could just settle for whatever works. So let's pick this, right? So it's now above the two colors, the two elements, the two faces. So what do? Let's go and blend now. So we want to blend this new fill on the two faces such that the two faces will look as if they now have the same environment, or they were created in the same environment. The pictures were taken by the same photographer or whatever. So let's go. So if we don't find what looks like what we would like to have, we can change the fill color to something else and go and start blending all over till we get what we need. Okay, what if we now click this solid color into, remember that the guy's face is still clicked into the lady's face. So if I click something else into the guy's face as well, it will still be clipped within the lady's face because she's like the main container of everything we have clicked. So let's go and blend it again. So why I clicked it is the blending mode is still affecting the background, but I want to retain this background color and only create an environment for my two faces alone. So let's see if it will be any different. So you can see that the background is intact and nothing is affecting it. So let's try something else. If you double click this thumbnail, you have your color picker again. But so I work with this color a lot, but I can't really tell what it will look like on their faces now. Let's do green from the leaves. So maybe they are not entirely yeah, soft light. Oh, I want the pin light. So somehow even the guy's face, the light on the guy's face naturally has reduced also. Although the lady's one is now darker. But well, we won't mind because it's even looking like the guy is in the foreground while the girl is in the background. So naturally we can explain why one is darker than the other, even though they were from different sources. But they are from different sources. Okay. Pin light. Something like that. Okay, so let's stick to pin light. So that is how we can use blending mode to create an environment to make everything look like they were created in the same scene. You only lifted all of them once and brought to your design. But that's not the case. So one thing I want to do again is to remove this boundary in the guy's neck. So this is not looking so realistic, right? So let's try and do, so even the lady's earring. Okay, let's do something. The guys, so to apply the blending mode, if you remember, we use the layer mask thumbnail. Then we check for the foreground and background color, black and white, and then soft round brush. So back to it, and reduce this a little bit, and then I want to if I reduce the flow, so that the boundary is not so obvious. Reduce the opacity. And then this here is the coming from. Okay, I think when I was cutting the guy's face, the tiny space I decided to ignore that I said is not so significant is where this lady's earring is now passing through. So naturally there is nothing in this place, so it is transparent. That's why the earring is still there. Yes, this place, this this place. So there's really nothing we can do for that part. Okay, so this is looking like it. So all these things we've played around with are what people do when they are designing, happy birthday designs for people. They duplicate the celebrants' images, put the one in native dress here, put the one in corporate here, blend them together, add all this flair, blur some elements and all, write happy birthday, put a short prayer here, something like that. And that's usually it. So what I did in should I say this lesson, this recording, this tutorial is simply to just show you how we can play around our freedom as designers. And in fact, if I still give this time, I can say I'm not done yet, and I'll still include some elements, just make it easy and whatever it can look like. Where can I do this? So eventually I may need to change the name from faces to something else around nature that I have different elements of nature. So should I redo the first? Let's try and blow it and see what it will look like. Then I was trying motion blur. Okay, so this is what motion blur looks like. Right? It looks like something is moving. That's the idea of motion blur, but that's really not the best that I want for what I'm trying to do. So Gaussian blur again, not so blurry. So I want the shape or the form of the leaf of the vine to still be visible, so they can tell that this is a vine. However, it will still be blurry. That's the idea. Yeah. And then you can come in. Okay. So yeah, that's it. And nothing else is coming to my head right now. But so far, we've done things around blending mode. We've done things around blending mode. We've done things around sorting a layer panel, grouping, linking, aligning. We've done things around clipping elements, right? We've also worked around filter as the blur effects we've been doing, and then typography as well. Of course, hierarchy tells us this is the headline. These are tiny information or tiny pieces of information um, for this, and this is the geometric shape in action. No reason, no specific purpose. It's not achieving any purpose, but it's just there to fill up space. And in fact, we can even duplicate it, then transform. Yeah, that's another thing we've done, transform. Then I repeat and just keep it in this angle, just to make sure that my white space is okay. So now that I have duplicated this, the linking that I did for the original will no longer apply to the duplicate. So now if I want to carry it, all of these ones are now on their own till we do the same thing again. Highlight everything and then come back to link them as well. So we have linked all of these rectangles. We have linked all of these rectangles. So yeah, this is it. This is just here to fill up space so that place doesn't look empty, same as this. So yes, that is what we've done so far. As I said, it's a freestyle, and yeah, that would be the end. Thank you very much.